Like me, most people spend decades preparing financially for retirement, but almost nobody prepares mentally. And that's understandable because the financial side is easier to measure. Because you can calculate numbers, run projections, talk to advisors. But the mental side of things is very different. It's harder to define and even harder to know when you're exactly ready. For me, the interesting thing is that I realised this before I retired. Not because I had some perfectly structured plan, I didn't by any stretch. But there were a few clear signals that told me the time was right to step away from work. And looking back now, those signals mattered far more than I realised at the time. So in this video, I want to share my experiences and the things that helped me know I was mentally ready for retirement, which in turn may just help you with your own retirement journey and transition. If you're new here or you're a returning viewer, my name's Paul and thanks for stopping by. So let's start with the obvious one because the financial side of things does matter. You'll often hear people say retirement isn't about money. It's about purpose, lifestyle, identity. And sure, there's truth in that. But the reality is this, if the financial side of things isn't in place, it's very hard for the mental side to settle. For me, once I knew the numbers worked, it was like the first domino falling. Once that piece was in place, the other questions started to fall into place as well. I wasn't obsessing about whether I could afford to retire. Instead, my mind naturally started shifting towards a different question, which was, what do I actually want my retired life to look like? And that shift from worrying about survival to thinking about lifestyle is an important mental step. And just on the financial side of things, I understand that there'll be some of you here watching and thinking, well, that's all well and good, but I don't have enough to retire, or I need this much to retire, etc. As I've said here before, I'm not here to give advice on this or to suggest how much you might need, but I will leave a link above and in the notes below to a previous video I made, which may help you get you started on your journey to financial clarity. Another thing I realised is that the relief of leaving work is real, and it's most certainly wonderful. For many people, as it was for me, retirement represents freedom from things like the commute, the meetings, the deadlines, and the constant structure around your time. But here's the important part. Relief is not a life plan. It's short term because the excitement of leaving work eventually settles down. And when it does, you're left with a simple question. What does my life actually look like now? That's where some people struggle because they've spent decades thinking about what they want to retire from, but not too much time thinking about what they want to retire to. I'm going to expand on that in a tick, so do keep watching. Interestingly for me, I wasn't actually sick of working because I've always had a solid work ethic. And it wasn't the work itself. What I had grown tired of was the structure of the controlling framework around it. The idea that large parts of your day and your week are already decided for you. Where you need to be, when you need to be there, how your time is allocated, etc. And for the bulk of your working life, that's fine because there is a codependency. But after decades of that structure, I realised something quite simple. What I really wanted was ownership of my time again, the ability to shape my days differently, and more to the point, on my terms. And that realisation was another signal that I was mentally ready to make the transition. One thing I think helps enormously is having some picture of what retirement might look like. It doesn't need to be perfectly defined, and it certainly doesn't need to be some grand purpose. As I've come to realise more recently, purpose can evolve, interests can change, and retirement often unfolds in ways you don't expect. But having some idea of your day-to-day life is important. For me, I could picture the rhythm of my days. Slower mornings, exercising when it suited me, daytime catch-ups over lunch, more freedom to travel, and more time for things I was curious about, like doing this for example. As I said, none of this was perfectly mapped out, but I could imagine what life might feel like. And that mental picture makes the decision much easier because you're not just leaving something behind, you're stepping towards something and into something, and something that you know is going to be enjoyable. There's another aspect of retirement preparation that, from my experience at least, doesn't get talked about enough, and that's your health. Before retiring, I made sure I had a clear understanding of where my health was at. Like most people at this stage of life, I have a few things that need to be managed. Nothing dramatic, but things that require attention. I'm a big believer in proactive health management. So something I urge you to consider if you're approaching retirement is to get yourself checked over properly. Understand where things stand. If something needs attention in the short term, it's often better to deal with that while you're still working, rather than discovering it unexpectedly early in retirement. I mean, think about it. We get a health check before we start some types of employment, when we have to travel to certain parts of the world, and or when we hit some milestone ages. So why not do it before we enter retirement? Because starting this next phase of life from a position of awareness and ideally strength makes a real difference mentally. I saved this one till last because I think in many ways it can override some of the previous points I just raised. You know, when I look back, my preparation for retirement was far from perfect. It wasn't some kind of carefully designed master plan. Sure, some things were intentional. In reality, some things simply just fell into place. But the key pieces, the financial side, the mental picture of life ahead, the sense that I wanted more control over my time, well, they were all there. And eventually there comes a moment when you come to the realisation that you may not ever be 100% ready. But at some point you simply have to trust yourself. Trust the preparation you've done. Trust the instincts that have guided you throughout your life. And trust that you're continually figuring things out as the next chapter unfolds. So retirement isn't just a financial decision. It's also a psychological one. And while everybody's journey is different, recognising the mental signals that you're ready can make transition much smoother. So with that all said, I'd really be very interested to hear from you. If you've already retired, what helped you know the time was right? And if retirement is still ahead of you, do you feel mentally ready for it? What are your concerns? Let me know in the comments because it'd be great to hear from you. And as always, guys, thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.